good. Thanks for the introduction.
Yes. It's like, yeah. Just kind of rolled off the tongue. I like it.
Oh,
Alrighty. So what if Wednesday? I always have to. I feel the need to always like give an impression of what this is for like the first time viewers. And I am
yeah.
putting this on my course, this specific edition of it, which is super cool. So yes, what we're gonna what if Wednesday is the opposite of the usual brain activity of what ifing like the worst case scenario, which I believe is like a survival mechanism. The brain is prepping you for, you know, if it's raining outside, oh, I better leave a little bit early. Like, what if the roads are bad? What if there's an accident? Right? This
Mm,
type of stuff. But this is the flip side of that, the 180 of that, where you what if the good stuff. And I found, I'm interested in what has been done to you, like when we do these episodes, and we've done this in group setting too, which is really cool. Uh, what it does to your like energy, and like when I do it, I feel it's very okay. So the difference between even just saying like the what if, the what if something's bad, I feel very rigid, right? If there's a bit of a stress
mm,
response, I think that's the idea, is to get you
yeah.
in that stress response so you can focus. Whereas when we do this and the shows that you and I have done, it's like expansion energy. Like I feel a lot calmer. I feel a lot more like open and receptive. So yeah, what have you found
Yeah.
when we've done
Yeah,
this?
absolutely. Like every time I kind of go down the rabbit hole of negative thinking patterns, I can feel my stress response just get higher and higher, right? I can feel my body tighten, I can feel my chest tighten, and I just feel rigid, like you said. And when I go down the what if scenario of thinking about all the positive outcomes that could potentially be there, that stress response lowers and my tension starts to release. And
Mm,
it builds resiliency in my brain for me to know that all those positive things are going to happen is how I kind of manifest them. Like
mm-hmm,
that
mm-hmm.
will happen and I can figure this out. And what if everything is good? And then the next time I do it, it gets easier.
Yes, exactly, and that's why we view this. I think we've mentioned it before. It's like a practice. It is a
Yeah.
practice. It's retraining your brain. It's a brain game in a sense, right?
Mhm.
And yeah, and just to further say, like when you say yes, it is done, right? But the thing is like for me, I realize, it's some of these things are fairly lofty goals, so it's not like it's going to happen overnight. But the fact that you've put it out there, it is something that you're now working towards. So that's another thing worth mentioning with goal setting or mantras or anything like that. It's you
Yeah.
don't feel like dejected or like, oh, this doesn't work if there isn't something that results that happen immediately. The fact that
Mhm.
you have somewhere to go, it's kind of like that one. There's a quote I like. I'm gonna butcher it though. It's like no wind is favorable if you don't know the destination of the ship. Oh man, I butchered. You know, get what I mean though. Like if you don't know which way you're
Yeah,
going,
no,
you're just gonna be on the open ocean, just kind of going wherever, right? So,
for sure.
oh man, I butchered that phrase. I'll
That's
look it up
okay.
later
I
too.
get it. I get it. And like, I think what you're sort of getting at too is like, sometimes when we put a timeline on something, it can feel very restrictive and even like amp up that stress response. Like, for
Yes.
instance, like, oh, I want to lose 30 pounds in a month.
Right. Right.
Whereas if you just said, I want to lose 30 pounds and you don't have a timeline attached to it, you get more invested in the journey as opposed to
Mm.
that destination mark of the 1 month.
Beautiful. Yeah, that's really worth mentioning as well. And it is hard to that part. It's a whole nother sort of reprogramming or practice to keep in mind as well. Is it's very easy to have the like the yang energy of like the doer, the achiever, the crosser offer of to do lists, right? Versus just allowing. And to your point, it's more of the about the journey and what you're experiencing and learning. Then becomes like the currency that you're dealing with versus and the byproduct is the achievement and after that,
Exactly.
right? So that's a
Yeah.
full body thing as opposed to this struggle, white knuckle, stress response to get to a arbitrary deadline we've probably set for ourselves, let's face it. And then when we do, there's like a temporary release of like dopamine. And then what
Yeah.
happens? Your brain goes, okay, what's next? Right. So,
Yeah.
which,
Yeah.
guilty. I've been like that most of my life. So that is, yeah, great to kind of get into the brainedness of what we're doing here.
Oh,
Um,
totally. And like just one more thing is like in my experience of working with people, nobody ever sets a realistic timeline goal
mm-mm.
initially. It's always
Oh,
unrealistic. Like I want to do this in 1 month or I want to do this every single day. And then it's usually having to be like brought back to like, is that even realistic? And like
yeah.
how you can get so wrapped up in the unrealistic goals can be hard. Like it really kind of perpetuates that negative thinking pattern. So
Totally.
Anyways, that's an aside. We'll get into today's stuff.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, actually, I want to do one more. Like, so now we're just kind of riffing on this. We'll get to the What If Wednesday soon here, guys. The idea of somebody told me, or I'd read it somewhere in this because I'm still very new in my. We both are in our coaching journeys and such.
Hmm.
And the phrase is, and I'm pretty sure I'll get this one, is you will overestimate what you can do in 1 year and you will underestimate what you can do in 3 years.
Yeah.
And as soon as I heard that, I was like, oh man, it was like such a relief to hear that. And it really landed
Yeah.
with me because I'm like, man, I was scrambling and trying to recreate my entire life, from front to back in like a 6 month period, that sabbatical I had last year,
Totally.
and being so disappointed that I'd fallen, quote unquote, fallen short, right? But, even now it's like a year later and I can reflect on it and be like, oh no, like that, I do not view it as that anymore, even remotely that I fell
Yeah.
short. It's
Yeah.
just been, it all makes sense now in the big picture is kind of what I'm getting at. So
Yeah, totally. So then that obviously resonated for you. If I said like everybody kind of overshoots,
yes,
everybody sets an
that's
unrealistic
exactly,
goal.
that's why I wanted to mention it because hell yeah, like
Yeah.
guilty, right? And one last final thought with it too, and I want you to see what you say about it as well. Is you know what? I think I just lost it. Damn it!
Oh,
I was thinking, oh, it'll come back to me. But I was like, I put myself on the spot there. Oh, it was good too.
sorry.
So what if I'm going to start off with the what if I remember what I was going to say, and then I'll pass it over to you now. But actually, before so the what ifing we're going to do today, because I want to have it fit in contextually with the course, my recovery roadmap course here, is what ifing behaviors and habits that we want to bring into our lives that that we feel will be beneficial, that have been kind of in the periphery but have been like, one day I'll get to it, or maybe that's not really me, I want to get to that stage, but so like just sort of what ifing some certain behaviors or habits. So for
Hmm.
me, and I'll just start with one, just give you because I just popped that on you now, so I'll give you 30 seconds to figure out what you're going to say. I'm going to start with, so what if I start a morning meditation practice of 60 minutes every morning?
Nice. Yeah. I mean, I can hop on that because
Yeah.
I already told you I'm feeling a bit anxious today. So what if,
Mm,
after this call, I get outside and go for a walk and just kind of bring my body stress down a little bit.
awesome. Awesome. Yeah. Ooh, that's nice. What if I take my breaks at a pre planned routine time each day and the break happens to be outside?
Nice. Yeah. I'm going for a sleep study today. So, what if it's a really positive experience? It's not uncomfortable, and I get some really awesome results from it.
Hmm. Cool, cool. Okay. What if I find a way to, now I'm going to be more specific. Well, so I'm doing some like frustration or anger work. I felt like I've very much suppressed. I've spent a lot of my life like being a people pleaser because I've been afraid of whatever, disappointing people or confrontation.
Hmm.
So being a little bit top heavy that way, not really grounded in my own sense of me and my own needs at times,
Hmm.
based out of fear. So what if I can, as a result, this like anger, I've been very much like, no, don't be like that, just be all happy, and right. So what if I can find a way to allow that anger and rage, might be a strong word, anger is too, but I'm going to say it anyways, anger and rage somewhere to go, whether it's a martial art. I was thinking maybe buying like a kick bag or a punching bag. So what if I do a daily 15 minutes on a kick bag to help me allow that
Hmm.
suppressed anger to come up and have somewhere to go, instead of having it come out in like sideways weird stuff, like when I stub my toe and start yelling swear words.
Yeah, absolutely. It's
Yeah.
cathartic, right? And
Yeah.
so, something similar. I told you that we just bought a treadmill, but it's still not set up yet. So, what if I can get that set up tonight? Because I would love to just run off some of the anxiety energy that I have right now.
Ooh, that's a really good one. I like that. What if I find a few different routes for the dogs and I to walk um, in and around the neighborhood? They've always been a little brattier around the neighborhood. They feel the need to be a lot pullier. So what if I can
Hmm.
find a few different routes around the neighborhoods that are a little less, um, um, I guess, uncomfortable for all three of us. They're just, oh, this works, and it's just relaxing, and it's great for all of us.
Nice, nice. Yeah. I already told you that we've got some like big family shifts happening this weekend. So what if everything goes really well? I just sort of surrender to the moment and allow my children to lead the way, and it's a really
Mm.
positive experience.
Ooh, that's a good one too. Excellent. So yeah, I think you know what, that's a spot to kind of wrap it up, and we'll debrief. But you know, everybody that's watching, you know, they get the idea, right? And this is something that you can do a practice on your own. There definitely is, like when you're doing any kind of like mantra work or anything, it really helps to verbalize it. Like actually, even if you're by yourself, just have a what if practice that you can do in the morning, and just I challenge you all to just do that. So let's just go what if, you know, and especially be aware of if your brain is going into like the what if in the worst case scenarios, catch yourself and then try this practice of what if, you know, my day at work goes great. If you have some kind of awkward potential conversation that you have to have, well, what if
Mhm.
you know, what if we find a common ground and this never happens again? Or, you know, we want to speak in negations, but yeah, like what if we, you know, work very collaboratively moving forward? That kind of idea, right? And yeah, like I mean, even I can feel the energy definitely a lot more relaxed. Um, and yeah, it really sets the tone. And to put that out there and verbalize it, I think to externalize it is a big
Mhm.
key component. Yeah. What are your final thoughts on it, Megan?
Yeah, I totally agree. I think sometimes people get so caught up in how to start, like how to start, whether you want to call it positive reframing or what ifing or positivity push-ups, however we coined it,
Yes. Yeah.
And it's great to have specifics when you have maybe certain stressors that are happening in your life, but just get started in any realm. So, what if I have a good day today? What
Mm.
if the sun shines all day? Like being general is a great way to start the practice of it because it does take effort to make a purely positive list of things because,
Mm.
like you said, our brain kind of naturally goes to that negative place. And so, just start is kind of my recommendation.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, exactly. Because yeah, you can get lost in the weeds of how specific, you know, you can get, and that comes with practice too. Because the more, you know, there's always the phrase of like the more specific you are with your goals, the more specific the results you are. But to your point, on the opposite, just to get started, absolutely. What if today's great? What if everybody I meet smiles? What if I keep it nice and big, broad
Yeah.
strokes, and go from there? So fantastic advice. And yes, I hope everybody enjoyed What If Wednesday. Thanks for watching, and we'll come back at you tomorrow.